Bro, I just explained everything that was going on. I wasn't even recording. Um, dang.
That would have been perfect for a video, to help people understand how to look at the charts.
Okay, I'm gonna just go back over it because you the only one in here. But I'm gonna wait till more Negroes join the call. Spend on you, spend on you. What if I got no more rest to spend on you? Um, I gotta stop going on Do Not Disturb, but I love going on Do Not Disturb.
Man, what? Tell me about it.
Um, but yeah, as you can see, notes are done being taken. I finished number 6 this morning.
Wow.
Feel me? I don't know if y'all can see.
Oh,
Um,
are you trying to show it on share screen or something?
nah. I'm recording right now. So
Mm.
as you
Shout out
can,
about that.
as you can see,
Hey, whenever we do have a huge community in here, once again, you're going to want to change the Discord cost to likes. They'll have to raise the speed.
yeah. As y'all can see. So probably sometime this week I'll go over my notes. Really a lot of the notes are takeaways from the videos. So not too much. But I will go over today what you want to do coming into the market since we're early on. Coming into the markets every morning, you're not always gonna have a trade. And let's get that through our minds right now. Especially with gold. Gold is not gonna give you a trade every single day. Unless you just want to lower your risk of being able to hit a probable trade. So coming into the markets with these 3 time frames, you want to come in and you want to mark out your structure, mark out your highs, mark out your lows, mark that out every morning so you can get familiar with seeing them. Because if you're not getting familiar with seeing your highs and your lows, you're not gonna know what you're looking at. So as this morning, let me clear this. This morning I'm looking and I'm saying, okay, first off, I look at the daily. I see the daily made a low, and now it's pushing back up. The 4 hour made a low, and now it's correcting. On the 1 hour, it's starting to build uptrend structure, which is a correction on the 4 hour. How do I know? I see a low, I see a high, I see a higher low, I see a higher high, I see another higher low, and now we just made a higher high. That's uptrend structure. So now I know, hey, this is a correction. How do I know the correction is over? When this uptrend structure is being broken. So I don't have to try to guess when is the 4 hour gonna be done correcting. Because the 1 hour is gonna tell me soon as one of these lows get broken, soon as one of those lows get broken, that's telling me this structure is done. And so then I could look at the 4 hour and see what the 4 hour is doing, and if they align, then we can confirm that. We can only confirm things, we can only know things if price tells us. Price will tell us everything. As you can see, price told us with this structure that it was going to be building up. How? Because it made higher lows, it made higher highs. I'm not going to tell you to trade stuff like this because we're trading the trend. We're not trading corrections. But if you see from what I just said on lower time frames, it will build a structure as it's correcting. You can trade it if you want. I'm not gonna tell you to because we're looking at the higher time frames. The higher time frames, this isn't a structure. This is downtrend structure still because we just made a low. We're looking to make a lower high. 1 hour is different. It's making higher lows, higher highs, But because we're going based off of higher time frames, we're still in a downtrend. So I'm not going to be trading buys in a downtrend. But coming into the markets, mark out your levels. Mark out all your highs, mark out all your lows. Even if you don't take a trade that day, mark them out. Um, and you want to mark them out because that's the rules. The structure is what's going to let you know what you're in, what trends you're in. If you don't know that you're in a downtrend, then how can you trade anything? How can you be sure about anything? Then next thing you want to do is honestly wait. Let price talk to you. Listen to the conversation. Listen to the things that it's telling you. If an uptrend
Yeah.
structure, if an uptrend structure is supposed to make higher highs and higher lows, if that structure gets broken, listen to that. Pay attention to the levels. On here we have a low, price is making a high. If price makes a higher low and then breaks this high that it makes, what does that tell us? We may be in an uptrend structure on the higher time frame. And then we would want to look for that correlation on the daily because the 1 hour would have already been showing us that. But on the 1 hour, if we see a break, which I said earlier, if we see a break of one of these lows that it creates, then now we're looking, okay, now we're back continuing to go downwards. High, low, lower high, and then we want to continue to go downwards. And we would get our entry from a lower time frame because as you can see, the lower time frame is giving us what's happening right here. So it's going to give us what's happening when it's going down. It's going to give us that structure to let us know what's going on. So your entries are going to be from the correlation between the lower time frame trend and the higher time frame phase of ICC. So indication, correction, continuation, and then on the lower time frame, the structure. So indication, correction, continuation, which is also the indication, correction, continuation. And so once this is broken, we'll go back to here and we'll be able to say, okay, indication, correction, continuation, and it'll match up with the 1 hour. And then we'll also look at that daily to see the alignment. Alignment is important because that's letting you know that what price is saying is true. It's not going to fake you out. It's not going to lie to you. It's going to do exactly what it's telling you. Also, these levels that it creates is also letting you know where buyers and sellers are at. So if you ever want to understand what the levels are telling you, this level is telling us that there were buyers at this level. As you can see, at this level, we've seen buyers. Let me see, go to the daily. At this level, we see buyers. At this level, we see buyers. So that's why you see, once we touch this level, we see buyers. But at this level, we see sellers. 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 So pay attention to those levels because that's telling you where the buyers and sellers are at.
Thanks.
If you know where buyers and sellers are at, you know that you should be in your trade or you shouldn't be. Because under certain levels or above certain levels, buyers and sellers are sitting there. I feel like that's kind of common sense, but I was gonna say also when structures being built and you have lower highs and lower lows or higher highs and higher lows, an uptrend structure is gonna build higher highs and higher lows because buyers have enough momentum. Buyers have enough money. So when you see a lower high or a lower low after price has started to build up, that's because buyers no longer have enough to continue to go up. And like I said, that's kind of common sense, but that's just the story that's being told. So right now, you see every time price makes a new high, that's because buyers have enough money from where it's pushing up from to continue to go up. But once you start to see, and that's another thing, equal lows and equal highs count as lower lows and lower highs. Why? Because a trend structure is making higher highs and higher lows. Trend structure is not making higher highs equal lows or higher lows equal highs. That's not uptrend structure. Uptrend structure should make higher highs and higher lows. So when you're seeing lower highs and lower lows or equal highs and equal lows, that's because price can no longer go past that level. That's what you see here on the 4 hour. You see price come here and push back up. Price is saying that we don't want to sell past this level. But you want to pay attention to that because if you do get past this level, it tells you, okay, there's enough sellers to push down. Sellers have enough to go down. There's enough momentum. There's enough volume to go down. Same thing with buyers. So it should be making lower lows. If it's making equal lows, we don't have the structure that we need. But if it makes a lower low, now we have the structure that we need to say, hey, we're in the downtrend. This stuff is really simple, if you want me to be honest. Indications and continuations are the same thing. An indication is going to create a low. A continuation is going to create a new low. And then we're going to use that continuation as the next indication. So they're the same thing. There's really not too much. Now that I'm seeing it, like I understand what Saibi's saying. There's not too much when it comes to the actual skill of trading. It's really simple. What it's going to come down to is the psychology part. If you're not letting yourself get psyched out, if you're believing in trends, believing in the higher time frame structures, if you're listening to what price is telling you and not thinking about a whole bunch of what ifs, higher time frames is high probability because those trends are stronger. When you're dealing with lower time frames, you're dealing with more because it's so like back and forth. Structure gets broken very easily on lower time frames. The lower the time frame goes, the easier the structure can be broken. So you're not going to see the 4 hour just break structure super easily unless that's the structure that it wants to build. The lower you go, when you get to the 30-minute, the 15-minute, the 5-minute, you'll see a lot of breakup structures because those are lower time frames. But on the daily, you're going to see that structure last. You're going to see that structure last. Highs, lows, higher highs, higher lows. And then once it makes a lower high, what does it do? It makes this, it makes a lower high, then it makes a lower low. Lower high, and then now we're looking to make lower lows. And sometimes you'll see stuff like this where it's like, okay, this is a higher low, but it's still continuing to make lower highs. So if we've already seen that we're in a downtrend structure, and this will be important. If you already see that you're in a downtrend structure, but then you see things like higher lows, You're not gonna think, don't change your mindset. Don't change how you see the trend until you see a higher high followed by that higher low. So if you already seen that you're in a downtrend and then price makes a higher low but still makes a lower high, you're not thinking about an uptrend yet until price makes a higher low and then a higher high. And pay attention to those major levels because price will make higher lows and higher highs, but then still be under a level where sellers have momentum, and then you'll see the lower low and the lower high be created because we're still under a level where price is selling. So unless price builds up to a place where buyers are strong at, then you're still not worried. Like if we came back above this level, we can see that price buys up from here. Price bought up from here. So above this level, price is buying up. But if we have a higher low and then a lower high, we're still in a downtrend, especially if we're under this level. Now, if we see a higher low and a higher or a lower high, but then it comes above here, then we'll be looking for another higher low, and then we can start to say, okay, we're probably going to build a higher high because we're above a level where buyers actually have momentum. And we know that because price has already told us that. We're not going off of anything that price hasn't told us. Other than that, that's really it. Right now, we're just waiting for that correction to finish. And as we wait for that correction to finish, just pay attention to the 1 hour. Pay attention to when that structure gets broken. And then once that structure gets broken, then we'll be good to start to look at where our entry will be. And when it's time for our entry, I'll show y'all how to be secure on that entry. Show you how to be secure on that entry. But as for this, that's all we really have for today. We'll just sit, see what price does. I'm gonna fuck with y'all. Y'all have a good one. Do something productive. Build a foundation. Build a routine that will help you stay in the mindset of just getting to where you want to go. You should be in the mindset of getting to where you want to go at all times. Always thinking about the things that you want to do. And so let that show up in every aspect of your life. If you're going to work, if you're working out, like do something that's constantly keeping you in the mindset that you want to be in so you can continuously progress to where you want to go. All right, deuces.